Senator Ricketts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Chairman Scott and Ranking Member, for holding this important hearing. I want to thank all the nominees here for your willingness to serve our great nation, and to your families for allowing you to do it, because we know that your families will sacrifice along with you as you work hard on behalf of our country. I want to continue the theme here that Senator Kim was talking about. Our nation's largest existential threat is Communist China and its malign influence. As the East Asia Subcommittee Chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, I'm committed to finding ways to combat Communist China in any way we can. After Communist China took over in Hong Kong in 2020, Hong Kong shifted from a trusted global financial center to a critical tool in Communist China's belt to launder money and evade sanctions and carry out other illicit financial activities. For example, Hong Kong has been responsible for creating front companies to purchase barred Iranian oil and managing ghost ships that engage in illegal trade with North Korea. According to the Economic and Security Review Commission on China, exporters from Communist China and Hong Kong shipped 85% of the semiconductors imported by Russia between March 22 and September 23. In 2022 alone, Hong Kong ranked as Russia's second largest semiconductor import partner, shipping approximately $400 million worth of semiconductors during the first year of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Hong Kong has gone rogue. It's certainly different from what it used to be in the past, and is helping our adversaries circumvent U.S. sanctions and export controls. Mr. Hurley and Mr. Hyde, do you agree with this assessment of Hong Kong? Mr. Hurley, we'll start with you.
Yes, sir, I do.
Yes, Senator, I do.
So if confirmed, what tools will you prioritize to counter entities like Hong Kong that exploit loopholes or bypass U.S. export laws? Again, Mr. Hurley, we'll start with you.
Well, I think we talk about prioritizing tools. I'd step back for a second and say we got to be holistic about it. Land and Commerce has very important tools. Our colleagues at the State Department have very important tools. And then at Treasury, sort of the center, mostly through impact on the financial system and on specific entities as they touch our financial system. And so what I would say is let's be holistic about it. Let's, to the extent we can enlist our allies to help us with it, it's always more effective to be able to counter these activities.
Yeah, Senator, I more or less agree exactly with what my colleague just said. And I would just say, at the end of the first Trump administration, he signed an executive order that basically said, Hong Kong, across all our legal authorities, Hong Kong will be considered part of the PRC, right? And then more or less, not to be softly critical of the last administration, more or less that went unaddressed for 4 years. A variety of shell companies were popping up in Hong Kong, purchasing semiconductors, shipping them to Russia, shipping them to entities on the mainland. And by and large, we were a little bit asleep on the wheel. So this is something that from day one, we're going to have to sort of hit the ground running on and adjudicate very heavily.
So your point there, Mr. Hyde, I think is also really good from the standpoint of getting back to what Mr. Hurley just said about, look, it's not just about what we use or what tools we have, it's how actively we pursue it. What kind of rigor do we actually pursue the sanctions to be able to make sure they're enforced and where we're cracking down and enforcing the rules? Would that, you both agree with that?
Yes, sir. And, I spent my life as an investor, mostly a public market investor. And if you aren't learning from here, taking a hard look at what you tried and what did not work, you're not learning. And that'll be a big focus for me in this job.
Great. Well, switch gears a little bit. At the end of President Biden's term, the administration unleashed an avalanche of reckless rulemaking across various federal agencies. I look forward to working with all of you to roll back the harmful policies that were put in place by Biden bureaucrats. One of these rush midnight rules is the Department of Commerce Artificial Intelligence Diffusion Rule, which aims to regulate global diffusion of advanced AI chips and models. This misguided rule places arbitrary purchase limits and a cumbersome licensing process to acquire U.S. computing technologies in approximately 150 countries, including allies like Israel. Constrained from purchasing U.S. technology, these countries would be incentivized to turn to Communist China's unregulated, cheap substitutes. Technology companies in these affected countries could be motivated to create their own AI technology stacks outside of our export controls regime. And while I certainly agree with the goals of what the administration previously was trying to do to limit China's ability to compete with us in AI, this policy was actually, I think, going to have unintended consequence of doing just the opposite. So with that, Mr. Hyde, I look forward to working with you and the Trump administration on alternatives to this rule that will be effective in preventing Communist China from capturing the world market in a leading technology without compromising America's advantages. And with that, I say I'm over, so I'll give you back the time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.